recording for today. All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone. Today's community webcast is titled What's New in CA API Gateway 9.0. Today, Stephen Mack will be presenting. He's Principal Product Manager behind the API Gateway product, and he'll be going through a series of slides to go over all of the latest and greatest in this new release. And then we'll open up the line at the end of his presentation for live Q&A over the phone. If you'd like, you can also ask questions in the Q&A window in WebEx. We'll keep an eye on that during the presentation today and try to get to them throughout, but we'll also make sure we catch up with those questions at the end of the presentation as well. We'll post the recording and the slides from today's webcast in the CA API management community, and I'll include a link to that later in today's presentation. So now I'm going to pass it over to Stephen. Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Kristen. So this is Stephen Mack here. I've also got Aaron Flint with me. We're both on the product management team for the CA API Gateway. So yeah, today we'll talk about what's new in the new release, the 9.0 release of the CA API Gateway. First, I'll go through a bit of an overview, give you some background on this release. And then I'll step through some of the improvements, enhancements, and new features that are included in this release. So first off, a bit of an overview. The CA API Gateway 9.0 is now available. We GA'd the product on November 12th. So you can download this from the API Management Support Portal. If you have any issues with that, please contact your account team, your support team, or your sales team, and they can help you get access to this. So the CA API Gateway 9.0 is a new major release that delivers a number of new platform and gateway management enhancements and improvements, such as the introduction of a new platform form factor, as well as a couple of new gateway management interfaces, including the Solution Kit Manager and the Server Module Files Manager, which I'll talk about in a little while. But the Gateway 9.0 is also the foundation for a number of for supporting a number of new and interesting features that are found in the upcoming CA API Management SaaS offering. Specifically, these are the new hybrid deployment model and the new reporting and analytics capabilities that are found in that product. So just a couple of words first about the hybrid deployment model. The hybrid deployment model enables APIM SaaS users to optionally deploy gateways on premises so that they can retain full control and security over their APIs and the data that's collected by those gateways. So basically, for traditional gateway users, what I'm saying is those users will be able to continue to run their gateways on premises and have full control over those policies that are there. So the hybrid deployment model introduces three things on the gateway. First, security. So we've introduced a new enrollment process. So essentially, this enrollment process is a new task within the policy manager that simplifies the work of establishing that trust relationship between a on-premises gateway and the SaaS portal. After you do that enrollment process, the silent provisioning capabilities of the gateway enables the gateway to have policies pushed down from the portal down to the gateway. And then lastly, we've introduced a scheduler, a scheduled task functionality in the gateway. And this new scheduler allows periodic synchronization of the policies between the portal and the tenant gateways. The scheduler is also used to collect data periodically so that there's sync between the portal and the tenant, and that the appropriate data gets pushed or made available to the reporting and analytics tool. And so actually this is the diagram for the analytics tool. So essentially, the schedule is used here between the tenant gateway and basically periodically pushes data to the data lake. And the new reporting capabilities within the APIM SaaS offering makes use of a analytics tool called Good Data, which then fetches the data from from the data lake and makes that available through the portal. So that's those are the new features from a APIM SaaS perspective that the gateway enables. So let's talk about some of the actual changes that are in the gateway that enable this. So first off, let me talk a little bit about a new form factor that we've enabled in the 9.0 release, and actually I have another slide that talks about this. Basically, we're introducing a new Azure form factor, which will be a CentOS-based form factor that you can run within Azure. This is something that will be available through the VM Depot, the Azure VM Depot, and it will be available across all current and future regions within Azure. And I'll talk a little bit about licensing on the next slide, actually. The next item here is about AWS Cloud Init support. So this has been enabled. So first of all, what is Cloud Init? Cloud Init is an OS-level package that can be configured to install and configure other services. So in terms of the gateway, Cloud Init is useful for a no-touch configuration of the gateway nodes. And what that means in the case of AWS is that Cloud Init enables the AMI gateway to configure other services, such as the other AWS services. So things like cloud formation services, autoscale, and other services like that. And before I get off the slide, I just want to make a point, everyone, to the last note here around the end of service notice that's gone out for the 7X gateways. So these gateways are now sort of 2 versions behind the 9.0 release. So we just very recently, I think right after the GA notice for the 9.0 release, we also issued an end of service notice for the 7X gateways. So the actual end of service date will be the end of next calendar year, December 31st of 2016. And so for customers that are still on the 7X gateways, please work with your account team and start making plans to migrate to a later release, either 8X or maybe consider 9.0 as well. So as I mentioned, there is we have introduced a new Azure form factor for the 9.0 release. This is found on the Azure VM Depot site, as the screenshot and the link at the bottom will take you to. And the licensing for this is available only through CA today. So you can buy basically a gateway license from CA. We don't have, the gateway is not currently offered on the Azure Marketplace. That's something that we're looking for at doing in the future, but it's not available quite yet. And basically, you'll still need a license when you connect Policy Manager to this gateway that's running in Azure, and so you'll be prompted for that. Now, similar to the current AMI version of the API Gateway, which continues to be available as a separate offering, this is our first APIM offering within Azure. And so it's a sort of a new emerging form factor, and so we're very keen to hear about our customers' experience in using it. We expect to learn a lot from this, and so you know, if you have any feedback, please feel free to contact me about it. So let me talk a bit about solution kits and the solution kit manager and the server module files manager. So what are these things, first of all? So server module files are essentially packages for modular and custom assertions. They're what probably you may be familiar with as AAR files or just jar files for custom assertions. You know, you'll notice that they're now prefixed with an S in these ones, and these are signed versions of the AAR files and the jar files. And those are the signed versions are the only ones that are supported by the server module files manager as well as the solution kit manager. And what these basically, what the signed versions ensures is that they are issued by CA, and they come from a trusted source. In the future, we're going to enable the signing of these to customers as well, so that they can create their own custom assertions or solution kits, so that you can distribute them to your own gateways. But for now, server module files, like I say, are packaged versions of modular and custom assertions. Solution kits are essentially policies and assertions that are put into a sort of a reusable package. And basically, there's a couple of benefits from this, in that a solution kit is like, if you're familiar with the OAuth toolkit today, the OAuth toolkit today behaves like a solution kit, and in the 9.0 release is actually released as a solution kit. And essentially, these are reusable pieces of policies that can be configured and customized by the end user. But by putting them in the solution kit framework, we create this sort of solution kit metadata around it, so that they are installable, they're upgradable, they're uninstallable in the future, so that it's more maintainable is basically the key benefit here. Another benefit from as a solution kit is that solution kits are decoupled from gateway releases, so that provides us the option, and you as a customer, the ability to get solution kits in between gateway releases. So you don't have to wait for 3, 6, 9 months for the next major version of the gateway in order to get new features and capabilities. So as I said, the OAuth toolkit is an example of a solution kit in the 9.0 release. Other features, such as the mobile API gateway, the MAG, the upcoming mobile application services product, as well as that APIM SaaS portal enrollment bundle that I talked about earlier. These are all things that will be packaged as solution kits, and so they'll be easily installable and maintainable within the gateway. The idea here is also that in the future, if you've ever worked with our tactical engineering team and our services team, they'll also be able to deliver policies and assertions to you as a solution kit. Again, they'll be easily installable, uninstallable, and upgradable as well. So what do these things look like? What do the managers look like? Basically, these are GUI interfaces that that belong inside the policy manager itself. The solution kit manager, as I mentioned, allows solution kits to be installed, licensed, configured, upgraded, and uninstalled. The solution kit manager also helps to resolve dependencies, and I'll have a screenshot to show you how that looks like. And last thing, solution kits can be managed silently via the RESTman API. So what this means is, whatever you can do in the policy manager GUI interfaces, you'll also be able to do that headlessly within the RESTman API. So this is how the solution kit manager looks like. Here's a link for managing your licenses. So basically, if you have received a license from us when you, the OAuth toolkit comes with all the versions of the gateways, but if a solution kit is licensed and you have received the license, you can either use this button here to install that license, or when you select that solution kit, it will also prompt you to provide that license. So this screenshot here actually shows sort of a solution kit of solution kits. So each of these individual line items are actually solution kits. So in the case of the OAuth toolkit, you can optionally select to install just the 2.0 version of OAuth and not the 1.0 version if you'd like to. So you can optionally select each one of those. You can also sort of grayed out on this button here, but there's also an instance modifier. So if you want to install multiple instances of a solution kit, maybe for example for applying different solution kits or multiple versions of the same solution kit, but to different endpoints and customize each one of those, you can set an instance modifier to identify each of the separate instances. Right, so around dependencies. So the Solution Kit Manager also helps to resolve dependencies. So when you install a Solution Kit, it may have a dependency. So in this case, in the OAuth toolkit, it's probably a little bit hard to see in the screenshot here, but there's a dependency on a JDBC connection to already exist. So it will prompt you to set that JDBC connection. If you don't have a JDBC connection created, this dialog box will walk you through the creation of that interface, or of that connection. Lastly, around solution kits, there's also the ability to, like I said, to silently and headlessly manage the solution kits and the server module files. All of this is done through the RESTman API, so if you're already familiar with it, these are new gateway entities that we're introducing in the 9.0 release. So again, if you're familiar with it, you know, here's the URLs to I think actually those will list the server module files and the solution kits that are installed on the gateway. And here are some additional actions that you can perform on those entities. So again, you can upload one headlessly. You can delete or uninstall one silently. All of this, of course, is documented and is available through the documentation that that gets installed when you enable the RESTman API on the gateway itself. Another new feature that we introduced in the 9.0 release is the publish Swagger API capabilities. So as part of the 9.0 release, what we support is the proxying of REST APIs that are described in a Swagger document. So what this means is, as this diagram shows, as a developer, you can publish an API through RESTman into a gateway. The RESTman bundle will include a reference to the Swagger document as a URL, and then the gateway will be able to fetch to retrieve this the Swagger document. It'll cache it, and it'll use it for things like validating REST API calls against that Swagger document. And then if the Swagger document is updated, the gateway can dynamically retrieve and cache the new version of that of that document. And here we have an example of the or a screenshot of the validate against Swagger document assertion. So you can see here that you can validate against the scheme, the path, the methods, and you can set the security credentials for that validation. Is there anything else that you can? Okay. And then lastly, with the 9.0 release of the gateway, we introduced the scheduled tasks task, I guess, within the policy manager. So again, this is something new in the gateway, and it's used throughout the new features for the APIM SaaS offering. For both the hybrid enrollment process as well as for the or synchronization, as well as for the reporting and analytics capabilities within that product. So for a scheduled tasks may be configured to run once, as you can see within this dialog here, or you can set a recurring schedule. Recurring schedules can be run every so many minutes or every so many hours. You can set that, or they may run on a schedule that's on specific days, like days of the week, or specific months. You know, one example of what a gateway user might want to do is backed up the gateway using the RESTman API or the GMU as a task, and set it to and then set a scheduled task to run that every so often. And then, like I said, as another example, APIM SaaS uses scheduled tasks to push service metrics to the data lake where an ETL job happens and the data is moved to the analytics tool. So that actually, I've run through my slides pretty quickly here. So those are the key features of the 9.0 release here. So I don't see any questions quite yet in the chat window. Maybe we'll open this up to questions now. Any questions, Kristen? Are there any in the chat area? I don't think
we got
I
one
see any.
from
we do?
Adnan. Can partners build and release solution kits, i.e. collection of policies and policy fragments, to be sold or deployed as add-ons for clients?
Not yet. That will be coming in a future release. So there may be opportunities, and we haven't quite figured this out internally yet, but there could be possibilities where maybe through a partnership we can do some signing of solution kits on your behalf, but those details aren't quite worked out. Right now, the intention is that these are only CA issued solution kits at this point, but that is a future feature that we want to introduce.
Okay, great, thanks. I don't see any other questions in Q&A right now. If you guys want to ask questions over the phone, you can either hit the phone button to ask a question, or you can hit #6 to unmute your line, or you can ask it in the Q&A window. I just saw another question come in, follow-up question from Adnan. Is version 9.0 Blueprint available for CenturyLink Cloud?
The CenturyLink Cloud?
Yeah, do you see it in the Q&A window? Is V9.0 Blueprint available for CenturyLink Cloud?
No,
it's not specifically available.
Yeah, I think maybe I think maybe we'll take that one offline, and we'll need to look into that. We're not sure of that the blueprint.
Okay, yeah, he said there was a presentation on it at CA World.
Okay, we'll have to take that offline.
Yeah, so we'll look into that.
All right. Are there any other questions? Again, you can hit #6 or *6 on your phone to unmute your line and ask a question over the phone, or you can ask a question in the Q&A window. See if something just came in through chat. Yeah, we will be posting the recording from today's webinar to the CA API management community. I will post a link to that in the window. It's also up on the slide right now, but I'll post a link in the chat window so everyone can go there. If you haven't joined yet, that's a great place to go for information about API management products. I'm posting a link in the chat window right now, and we'll post that later today. All right, Ganesh asked, any chances of having an OAuth client SDK for Android iOS?
A client SDK for OAuth, repeat that again?
Any chances of having an OAuth client SDK for Android/iOS?
It's quite possible there would be. That would fall under the Mobile Access Gateway group. Has Ganesh mentioned that to the Mobile Access Gateway group at all, or?
We can take that feedback to the MAG team. They own all the client SDKs, so we can work with them.
Okay. And then Shane asked, are there any plans for a consolidated management server feature for all gateways similar to vSphere or OEM?
Yeah, so we have actually talked a little bit here around trying to extend. If I understand that correctly, it's a request to have the ability for the policy manager to be able to manage more than one gateway. Is that correct?
I would have to, oh, he said yes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have talked about either extending the existing policy manager or being able to add some new functionality whereby a user would be able to, would be able to manage multiple different gateways or gateway clusters from within the same interface. I mean, it's something that we've wanted to do. It's on our roadmap for a future release, but we have not yet planned it into a specific release.
Okay. I just opened up a poll for everyone in WebEx, so please rate today's webcast on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being poor, 5 being excellent. We'd love to hear your feedback about this webcast, and if you have any suggestions for future webcasts, feel free to share them now, or you can send me an email, or you can comment in the community on the recording, and we'll be happy to take that feedback for future webcast topics. If there are any other questions, you can again ask them in the Q&A window or unmute your line by pressing *6 or #6. All right, at this time, I don't see any additional questions. If anyone on the line thinks of any questions that they want to ask after we close this webcast, you can either ask them by responding to the email I'm going to send out to all participants. You'll get an email from me later today with a link to the recording as well as a link to the slides from today's webcast. Or you can post the question in the community by commenting on the event link for today's webcast or the slides or the recording that we're going to post later today. And Aaron or Stephen will be happy to answer those questions for you in the CA API management community. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Aaron and Stephen, for presenting today. I really appreciate you guys hosting these community webcasts for our customers, and we look forward to seeing you all in the next API Management Community webcast. For those of you in the United States, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.